Leonard has promised Labour will return to its radical roots in government, saying the party would carry the torch of Red Clydeside if it wins the election. The Scottish Labour leader said the party's programme of geater public spending, more workers' rights and taxes on the rich would fundamentally alter society for the better. "We have 20 days to make history. We may never get this chance again," he said. However, he faced questions about the party's position on Europe after vowing Scottish Labour would campaign against Jeremy Corbyn's new Brexit deal in a second EU referendum. He also said he would not resign if Scottish Labour suffered losses on December 12, compounding its reversals in the European election in May. Launching the Scottish Labour manifesto in the Gorbals in Glasgow, Mr Leonard evoked the spirit of Labour's Scottish pioneers in the early decades of the 20th century. He said, "It was recently claimed that we are no longer the party of Red Clydeside. Well, I say, read this manifesto. Look at these ideas on housing, on a living wage, on public ownership, on tackling poverty and inequality. We are the inheritors of the policy ideas of Wheatley and of Maxton, of Jenny Lee and Mary Barber. And we are proud to be their inheritors." Speaking afterwards, he said the comparison was apt as Scotland today faced many of the same problems of the Red Clydeside era. He said, "This manifesto contains proposals that the Red Clydesiders would be proud of because it commits us to a massive house-building programme. It talks about the need to introduce a living wage. It looks at the need to raise people into dignity who are in retirement. How do we stop the growth in child poverty and inequality? These are all things which are problems for us today that we need to tackle. We want to see a shift in the balance of power in the economy. There needs to be a rebalancing of the burden of taxation in our economy. At the moment, people who go out to work are taxed at a higher rate than those who accumulate wealth through share dividends, for example. We are saying that big corporations need to pay more tax. We want to see the restoration of a more fair form of taxation." He denied harking back to Labour history instead of thinking about contemporary life. He said, "We are recalling the values and the challenges that people faced back in the 1920s and 1930s, and I tell you, some of the challenges they faced are the ones we face today. We've got 1 in 4 children in Scotland living in poverty. We've got a real housing emergency and a lack of investment in public housing. We've got rising levels of inequality. In Scotland today, the richest 1% own more personal wealth than the whole of the poorest 50% put together. These are enduring challenges which we." For more on this story, visit the news article link.